So, you're probably wondering why this video is taking so long, or it took so long. Pretty simple. I forgot. Yeah, I actually forgot to record this video. Where are we at now? Like 120 subs? But yeah, this is the 100 sub special, and as I promised, I will be doing a deep dive into Overamalgamate Tale. Of course, there are some things I will keep hidden, because I actually do plan on, next year I'll be this school year I'll be, next school year I'll be taking an animation class, and I actually intend on animating stuff for one of my AUs. And we'll start, so let's get right into it. Overamalgamate Tale, it at first starts very similar to normal Undertale, with the humans and monsters living in peace. But the main difference being that the monsters, the thing that starts the war isn't the death. Well, it's not an issue. It isn't the death itself that starts the war. Humans never killed old Azrael in this AU. In this AU, Kara found the flower that Flowey is, and thinking that it was a cool flower, brought it home. However, this flower, unlike normal Undertale, contained a toxin. This toxin completely went crazy the moment it reached the surface, and killed both of Kara and Azrael on the spot, and caused Asgore to go crazy. And so, due to that, that's what causes the war, that's what causes the war. And while it is very similar, it, as you can tell, is very different. So, humans and monsters quickly find out about the amalgamifying effect of the flower, because it has really spread the toxin everywhere from just that one flower, which has caused multiple humans and monsters to amalgamify. So during the war, they're trying to find out how to either counteract the effects or somewhere that is safe. And they actually find that the only safe spot is the underground. So humans, after winning the war, seal the monsters on the surface, leaving the monsters to... It is a grim fate. I mean, the monsters are now trapped on the surface, stuck amalgamifying. So humans and monsters... So, yeah, the humans go down into the underground, and the monsters are sealed up on the surface. The monsters start widespread amalgamifying, but due to the property of them being completely made of magic, they don't fully amalgamify. And while they are mostly amalgamified, they do survive. So Asgore is still crazy and isn't the best fit to run the kingdom, but he's the only one that actually can at the moment, because everyone needs to focus on, rather than trying to figure out a government, actually survive. So they start doing that, and funnily enough, within a couple years they figure everything out. So life goes on as normal, and Asgore in that time recovers enough to be able to run the kingdom. So, but due to his fear of it now, he decides to establish the Royal Guard, but instead of just letting people join it, anyone after a certain age has two choices. One, either be either or doing a job to just keep everything intact, like schooling, baker, or making food, growing food, scavenging, hunting, or join the Royal Guard. So, yeah, and so on the Royal Guard, they are constantly on the hunt for humans to make sure that to get enough enough souls to break the barrier, because unlike normal Undertale, the barrier is a lot more powerful, requiring 500 human souls, which in this universe is the equivalent of becoming a god. It's just a stronger god than what it would be in normal Undertale. Not by, like, an insane, unimaginable margin, but enough of a margin where the barrier is clearly a lot more powerful. So, one of the first places that were established after the war as placed as a refugee camp, basically, is the old village, which Toriel currently looks after. She isn't the official caregiver or caretaker of the old village. That would go to Flowey, but she's basically the unofficial one. Everyone looks up to her and trusts her, and and then Snowdin is weird because of the fact that for some reason the toxin affected the weather. No one knows why, but it happened and certain areas were affected, with Snowdin being constantly cold and snowing, having huge trees. While Hotland, this AU's version of Hotland, I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, or because I don't even have a name for it yet, but it's basically whatever I'm going to call it, I intend on making it a desert. And then the core, this time there won't be a core. It will be a factory that was made by Gaster and is what makes everything for the monsters to live off of. It's where most of the people working to make food work. There's also areas with farming supplies, so that the farmers can grow the food they need. Of course, no one actually remembers Gaster, or even how the factory came to be. All they know is that one day that a previous royal scientist made it. They don't remember, and no one can remember anything about the royal scientist. In fact, to be completely honest, everyone probably assumes, including Alphys, assumes that that Alphys made it, which probably confuses Alphys everyone by the fact that Alphys doesn't know how it works. So, all of that, and then the last two areas stay basically the same. I don't see any reason for them to be different just because it's a different area. Now onto the characters. We have Sans, who, when early on in his life, he was showing amazing promise and was basically forced to join the Royal Guard. And whenever... Actually, nah, I'm gonna keep this a secret for now. You guys will learn what... Nah, you guys will learn what what was about to say. Next up, Flowey. Flowey has basically the same story. The only difference being that he is a good person. He's not evil. He never found out about resets because he's been trying the entire time to help Asgore gain his sanity back. Next up is Toriel, who is basically the same. Nothing really different besides the fact that a while back she got into towards the beginning of the amalgamifying process, when Asgore was still the most had just come out of insanity. He tried to force her. Toriel managed to hold him back but ended up taking heavy damage that her body wasn't able to fully regenerate from, or reform. Next up, Mettaton is the same. The only difference being that he has a smaller, actually, he probably has a bigger audience because of the fact that most of the people that use their free time to watch him, at least the ones that don't have family, use most of their free time to watch him, so he probably has a much bigger audience. Next up, we have Alphys. Alphys is a bit more confident than her normal self. She's a bit more confident because of the fact that she thinks that she was the one that made the factory. She is more confident in her own abilities and isn't a nervous wreck. Next up, Papyrus. Papyrus is funnily enough, you may think that he would be part of the Royal Guard, but he's not, because Sans knows what can happen to people when they join the Royal Guard, and managed to use his position to try to get Asgore to not make Papyrus join the Royal Guard. Of course, he still had to pay a price for it. That doesn't come free. Just letting Papyrus not join the Royal Guard comes free. Papyrus has no memory of the altercation between Sans and Asgore. And Papyrus thinks that he's a special case, and that Asgore is waiting for letting him shine by himself. Next up, we have Asgore. Asgore is basically in the same position as normal, but he's more insane, and he actually absorbs every human he gets. Human soul he gets his hands on, he absorbs it. So, likely isn't held back by morals. And then, now here's a question you probably have. What happened to the amalgamates? With Maya U being based around every monster being a partial amalgamate, what happened to the original amalgamates? Well, I'll tell you this. They're still there, but not the same. So now, here probably a few questions you'll be wondering. If every human has to come up from the same spot in Old Village, why has no one noticed it? Well, that's because Flowey and Toriel either Flowey or Toriel help them get around and sneak around so that they aren't spotted just there, and so they assume that it's somewhere else, but they can't exactly pinpoint the exact location. They assume it's somewhere inside the factory, as it's the biggest area with the most places for a human to hide or come out of. And the monsters are a lot stronger than humans in the AU. They aren't the normal subs being a lot weaker than humans in this AU. They are actually a lot stronger, and even the weakest of monsters can take on a human on their own. Now, for this last part, I will go over just abilities specific to the monsters in general. Like normal amalgamates, they aren't completely immune to physical attacks. They're only partially immune. But they are incredibly resistant to non-magical attacks. So they take a huge amount of less damage. And that's pretty much all the special abilities they have. That's all for this video. Alright, that's all for the 100 sub special. Thanks for 100 subs. Oh, 129. Goodbye.